Each moment of weakness I feel with you only makes me crave more of you in my life. Your presence consumes me in the most perfect way. I wouldn't change it for anything. With you, I'm both shattered and whole at the same time, and I never want it to stop. Every moment I spend with you makes me question my own strength, but somehow that's exactly where I want to be. I don't know what it is about you, but your presence leaves me weak, and I never want to find my strength again. I lose control every time I'm near you, but I wouldn't have it any other way. You make me feel weak in ways I never thought possible, yet every weakness is an invitation to stay longer. With you, I am weak, but in that weakness, I find something more powerful than I ever knew existed. When I'm with you, I feel myself melting, and yet I never want to stop falling. Every time you pull me closer, I feel myself giving in more, but it's a surrender I'm willing to embrace. I never knew weakness could feel so beautiful until you showed me how it feels to be completely vulnerable with you. With every moment, I realize how much I crave the feeling of losing control in your presence. You make me feel exposed, yet it's in that exposure that I find my true self. You break me down in the most perfect way, and somehow I want you to do it again and again. There's something about the way you weaken me that makes me feel like I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. Every time you touch me, I feel my resolve slipping away, and for once, I don't mind. You have this way of making me feel small, but it's in that smallness that I find a deeper connection. You make me feel weak, yet I'm never more alive than when I'm with you. In your eyes, I see a vulnerability I've never known, and somehow it makes me feel stronger than ever. The way you take my strength with just a touch makes me want to give you everything I have. There's no going back now. You've made me so weak, and I never want to stop falling for you. With every word, every look, every touch, I find myself unraveling, but it's the most freeing feeling. I thought I was strong, but your presence makes me realize that true strength lies in surrender. You make me feel like I'm drowning in your love, and somehow I'm okay with that. There's something about the way you weaken me that makes me want to dive even deeper into this connection. Every time you pull me close, I feel my defenses crumble, and I'm okay with that because you make me feel alive. Your touch makes me feel fragile, yet in that fragility, I feel a power I've never known. I crave the way you make me feel weak because it's in that weakness that I find my strength. When I'm with you, every part of me wants to surrender because your presence makes me feel whole. The more you weaken me, the more I find myself clinging to you, wanting more of the feeling you give me. Every moment spent with you makes me realize how much I crave being weak in your arms. I never thought I'd crave vulnerability, but with you, I can't get enough. You take away my strength, but in doing so, you give me the power of feeling completely seen. Every time I fall under your spell, I realize that weakness is not something to fear, it's something to embrace. I don't want to be strong when I'm with you. I want to be weak and let you hold me in that place. You've made me realize that true strength lies in allowing myself to be weak for you. When I'm with you, I don't feel the need to be in control. It's in the letting go that I feel the most powerful. I never knew how sweet it could be to feel weak until you made me crave that very feeling. You have a way of making me feel small, and yet I've never felt more important in anyone's arms. Every touch from you breaks me down in the best way possible. I want to feel that over and over again. You make me feel helpless, yet in that helplessness, I find a strength I never thought I could possess. There's something about the way you make me weak that feels like freedom, and I'm addicted to it. Every time I give into you, I feel like I'm giving to something I can't explain. But I don't care because it feels like love. You make me lose my sense of control, but in doing so, you make me feel more alive than ever before. With you, I don't need to be strong, because when I'm with you, being weak feels like the most natural thing. You take my strength, but you give me something far greater, the feeling of being completely vulnerable and loved. I never thought I could feel so weak and so powerful at the same time, but then you came into my life. You've shown me how sweet surrender can be, and now I crave nothing more than to fall under your spell. Every time you make me feel weak, I realize just how much I need you to complete me. There's a beautiful kind of strength in allowing yourself to be weak in someone else's arms. Every touch, every word, every glance, it all makes me feel things I can't control, but I never want to escape this feeling. In your presence, I lose myself and find myself at the same time, and I never want to stop this dance. You make me feel a vulnerability that is both terrifying and exhilarating, yet I crave more of it. My heart races, my mind spins, but I wouldn't have it any other way. You make me weak, yet stronger than ever. There's something about you that pulls me in, making me feel helpless in the best possible way. You have this power over me that I can't resist, and honestly, I don't want to. I try to keep my distance, but every moment with you makes me surrender even more. The way you make me feel is both overwhelming and addicting. I can't let go, even though I know I should. Each time I think I'm in control, you remind me of how helplessly I fall under your spell. There's something about your touch that makes me feel weak in the knees, and yet I crave it more. Your presence makes me feel both fragile and invincible at the same time. How do you do that? You push me to my limits, yet I can't seem to walk away. This feeling, it's both my weakness and my strength. The more I try to resist, the deeper I fall. But in this weakness, I find something beautiful. I am completely consumed by the way you make me feel. And the strangest part is I wouldn't want it any other way. My heart wants to race in fear, yet all I want to do is stay close to you, letting it race forever. You pull me in with your charm, and I can't fight it. I don't want to fight it. This feeling you give me is like a storm, intense, uncontrollable, and yet I feel at peace in its chaos. With you, I feel like I'm drowning, but it's the kind of drowning I never want to end. Each moment with you makes me feel like I'm standing on the edge of something I can't control, but I don't mind. You take away my strength, but somehow you make me feel more alive than ever. I never imagined weakness could feel so freeing. With you, it does. My body may tremble, but my soul is stronger with you by my side. You make me question everything I thought I knew, and I can't seem to find a way out of this intoxicating pull. Every time you look at me, I feel like I'm falling deeper into something I can't explain but don't want to leave. In your presence, I am weak, but it's the kind of weakness that makes me feel complete. You make me feel exposed, but strangely, it feels like freedom rather than fear. I crave the very thing that makes me vulnerable, because in that vulnerability, I find a power I never knew I had. Your touch weakens my resolve, but it strengthens my heart, and that's all I need. You challenge everything I thought was strong about me, but in that challenge, I find a deeper truth. This emotional roller coaster you're putting me through, I never want to get off. You make me feel so small, yet everything about you makes me want to be even closer. I'm captivated by the way you bring me to my knees, and I never want to stand up again. Every time you pull away, I feel myself reaching for you even more. You've made me realize how beautifully vulnerable we can be together, and I don't ever want to let go of this feeling. There's something about the way you break me that makes me feel whole in a way I've never known. With every word you speak, I lose my composure, and with every silence, I long for more. You have this power to make me feel weak, but in your arms, I find a kind of strength I never knew existed. The pull you have on me is undeniable, and even in my weakness, I find myself surrendering willingly. I can't fight the way you make me feel, nor do I want to. You weaken my walls with a single glance, and I let them fall without a second thought. Every time I try to walk away, I realize that I'm more entangled in your spell than ever. You break down every defense I have, but somehow I feel more complete than ever. There's a certain kind of beauty in being weak for someone, especially when that weakness feels like love. You make me feel exposed, but strangely, that's when I feel the most alive. I thought I was strong, but then you made me realize how beautiful it is to fall apart in someone else's arms. You make me feel weak, but I wouldn't have it any other way. It's like every part of me is drawn to you, and the more I give, the more I want to give. I'm completely at your mercy, and yet I feel like I've never been more alive. The way you make me feel powerless is the most powerful feeling I've ever known. I don't want to stop feeling weak in your presence, because in that weakness, I discover a strength I never knew I had. Your touch weakens me, but in the best way possible. It makes me realize how much I want you. I never thought I'd find beauty in surrender, but with you, it's all I crave.